Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope all is well. Hope everyone's doing all right. So my name is Vincent Tucker, Mr. Tucker. I will be your instructor for this summer session. So hopefully you've seen all of my emails. If nothing else, I know you at least seen one, which is the one that gave you the link here. So once again, I hope everything's doing great. So let's go ahead and walk through um, class happenings and everything like that and see if you have any questions about anything. Hold up, got to sneeze. Sorry about that. All right, so let's go ahead and get rolling. So when you go to Canvas, if you go to your Canvas announcements, that will be where I have archived, or I will continue to archive all of our class emails. So any email that I send to you will be stored here in your Canvas announcements. We will not use Canvas for anything else except for right here, storing our emails in your Canvas announcements. So if there's ever anything or any time that I send something to the whole class, it will be here. So if you don't see any emails, you can always check back here to see if I've talked to the whole class. So even your syllabus, if you go here, you'll see there's nothing here. I don't want you to go to Canvas for anything but your announcements. I just want to make sure that everything that we have is all in one central location. Talking about assignments, due dates, tests, syllabus, all of the stuff like that is all in one place, and that will be in MathLab. So we'll go to there shortly. So let's look at the emails that I've sent to you already. So the first one was just, greetings and then giving you a course description as to how this class will be operated. It's an online class, but it's not synchronous. It's more so asynchronous, in which you just, operate on your own time according to the due dates that have been given. And there's no steady time or set time that we will meet at all. I will have office hours that I need to send to you guys, so you can use them if you like, and you come and ask questions if you like. Other than that, you will have all of the everything that you need in order to be successful at completing the tasks of the course. Then the second email was the link to this meeting right here. Of course, it was optional. Third one was MathLab materials, your required materials. And so in this class, we will be using the computer component called MathLab. You do not have to purchase a hard copy of the textbook because there is an e-text that comes along with access to MathLab, but you do have to purchase access to MathLab in order to complete all of the tasks or have access to all of the tasks that will be assigned in this course. You're talking about homework and tests, even your final exam, everything is done through MathLab. All right. So if you follow these instructions, you will have access and will be able to gain access. Let me see. Do I have it pulled up like it was? All right. Let me go to the main page. So, all right. So if you have not registered or you don't have a course account already created, you would just go here to student access to register. And are you using the LMS? And the answer is no. That's a learning management system. So we're not using Canvas in order to register. You just go ahead and register. And then you use that course ID that I gave. It's Tucker 88575. And then from there, submit all your information, personal information. And then you will have three different options. You could either enter the access code. You would have that if you already paid for the access from an outside source. You're talking about TCC's bookstore. Maybe you got it from Amazon, wherever you got it from. That's when you would enter that 16-digit access code. If you don't have that and you want to just purchase access through Pearson, you can do that. If you do that, they will not give you an access code. They will just give you the access because you're already there. And then if not, you can use a 14-day free pass to give you full access for 14 days. And then after that, it will lock you out, but it will not erase or remove any of your material. Just that you will need to pay in order to get that access back, and then you'll be able to pick up where you left off. All right. Next one, MathLab specifics. So basically, this email just lays out how we will be using MathLab. The first statement of note is this statement right here. MATLAB does not work with Safari. So if you have an Apple product and you like to use Safari as your internet browser, you will not be able to do so. Well, using MATLAB, it just doesn't work well with it. Some things pop up, some things won't pop up. Sometimes it won't let you log in at all. It's just weird how it works with Safari. But Chrome and Firefox are safe internet browsers to use. I normally just use Chrome. They are free, so you should be able to download them with no problem. All right. Once you get past that, here, you cannot pass the course without access to MATLAB, and the reason being is because all of your assignments, your tests, everything we do will be done through MATLAB. You must show your participation. I even solidify your attendance through MATLAB. So, we don't have weekly meetings or whatever, but this would be the only way that I really could gauge if you're participating or not is through MATLAB. But let's say if it was my in-person class, even my in-person classes, I look at their attendance through MATLAB because it doesn't matter what you do. You come to class every day, or in you guys' case, you can look at all the videos, read all the content you want. But if you never go into MATLAB and do any of your assignments, of course you can't pass the class. So your attendance will be monitored through MATLAB. And all I'm asking is that show attendance, weekly. Oh yeah, there you go. There's weekly. Make sure you're in MATLAB weekly. I'm not asking you to get in there every day, even though once a week probably will not be enough. You have to get in there more than once a week, but at least get in there weekly to solidify your attendance. So anybody registrar, anybody ask me if you've been attending, I can easily say so. Just go to MATLAB, look at it, and you have a timestamp for your attendance. Even if you're having a rough week, you haven't gone in there, at least go in there, hit save on a homework, and come back out. So there's a timestamp on the fact that you are still around trying to make it work. If you have any issues with anything, make sure you let me know whether it's MATLAB related or not. But if it's related to the course and it's stopping you from doing your assignments, it's all about having a conversation. I don't need to know deep, intimate details about what's going on, but I do need to know that you're having little issues and you're still trying to make it happen. So each semester, every class, every year, I have people that just fall off the face of the earth and they just stop attending, they stop submitting work, they just stop communicating altogether. And of course, those people will get an F because I have no other choice. So if you don't want me to think that you are one of those, or you don't fall into that type of category, please keep lines of communication open so we can help you come up with a solution to whatever it is that you got going on. All right. So next, when we talk about homework, you have unlimited amount of tries to get the best grade possible on your homework. So with unlimited amount of tries, this is how we're grading your homework. 75 to 84.9, I will give you a 90% in my grade book. 85 to 100 is if that's how you will get full 100%. Now in MATLAB, it will not reflect that. That's something that I will make the adjustment on when I do final grading. But just know that that's how it will be represented in my in my book. Now notice I didn't mention anything less than 75. Reason being is because with unlimited amount of tries, there's no such thing as unlimited amount of problems. At some point, if you get something wrong, they give you the answer to it as well. You can keep clicking on it and get the problem back that you had. Really, you know what I mean? If you want to play the game, of course, that's not the safest way to do this because then you need to make sure that you actually prepare for your test that you have to take. But at least get a 75 so you can get, a decent grade on your homework. Sure. All right. So next thing, test reviews. They're not mandatory. They're set up like homework. You do them unlimited amount of times. But if you score 85 or better, I will add 5 points to that respective test. So that's a way to add earn extra credit if you like. For the test that you have access to, you get 2 attempts to get the best grade possible. And then this last statement is just a general statement I use. You guys won't have much scratch work because it's more application, not calculation for this type of course. And you'll see as you get involved with your assignments. And that even the book tells you to use technology. So you probably won't have much scratch work to email me. But like one of my pre-calculus class or calculus classes, they would have work. So I just use that as a general statement. All right.
So in general, we don't have to email you a scratch sheet, especially if it's like, for an example, like whole bunch of definitions or something like that.
Exactly right. Yeah. And that's going to be the majority of the nature of the type of assignments you guys will have. There's gonna be a couple things that you're gonna have to do calculations on, that you wouldn't use technology for, and you'll see them when we get I think it's more so chapter 8, chapter 7 type stuff. But all the other stuff you really could use technology, and like I said, the book even tells you to do so. So yeah, for this class, you probably won't have much scratch work at all. Any other questions before we look at this last email?
I did have a question about the definitions, the terms. Do
Okay,
we turn that in
we're gonna
or?
get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Oh, okay.
So we yeah, this is not the end of the introduction. I'm just saying this last email because then we're gonna go to
Oh,
math.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No
So
further questions on that one.
okay, cool. But I'm glad you're in here though, because you're the only one. I appreciate you. All right.
The one person. I
Right.
guess I get your full attention today.
Yeah, exactly. So for the last email that I sent to you guys, just a list of previously recorded lectures that cover all of the sections. Same guy, same notes, all that stuff. If you were in person, you would get the same content. So this is just from one of my classes, and it goes from the beginning all the way to chapter 8. So feel free to use those at your leisure. And let's get into math lab. All right, so once you get registered, you should be able to sign in with whatever credentials you created. All right, so well, 19 people in already. Okay, that's good. All right, so the syllabus is right here now. I do need to update some of the initial information. This is from last semester, so I do need to update that. But all the rest of the content, is going to stay the same. All of your assignments are right here. You have access to everything. So there's nothing that's blocked off by due dates or anything like that. And if you notice, you have one due date, and that is at the end of the semester, end of the session, which is in SIS 731. So I gave you as much time as I could. Next date, I got to get grades in. So notice the setup of your assignments. You got chapter 1, chapter 2, test review, and then your test. So once again, your test review is set up like a homework, but it's not mandatory. Notice with test 1, it says 2 chances. Now, if by some chance some funky happened, cat walk across the keyboard, hit submit or something like that, it's just a conversation. Just let me know. I can easily grant another opportunity or whatever. But I wouldn't know unless you tell me. But then the rest of them, 3, 4, same thing. Test 2, 5, 6, and then 7, 8. So this is since this is summer, from teaching in summer past, summer's past, 8-2 is a good place to stop. So that's where your final exam will be. I don't do midterms in the summer because it's such a short session. So the only main test that you're going to have that I have to proctor is going to be your final exam, and which we'll talk more about how I'm going to handle the final exam, as we get closer to it. I'm going to send you guys an email with instructions on how we're going to operate. And this final exam is going to be the week of the 31st. So what I normally do is I give you about 3 or 4 options to choose from on, 3 or 4 different days. So we probably will start on the 26th, which is a Friday, and then, have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as options as well. And I'll just give you different times on different days or whatever. But that will be your final exam week, right before that week of the 31st will be a final exam week. And 31st, I think, is on a Wednesday. All right. And then after that, you see these other sections, they are extra credit. You don't have to do them. They won't be held, you won't be held against you. But if you want to do them, earn some extra credit, you can. But your final exam review is right here. That's why I put the final exam right here, and then everything after it is extra credit. You don't see the final exam because you don't need it. You don't need access to it because we're not going to take the final exam until the last week of the session. Now, if you want to move, you can move and flow as long, however way you like, as long as you get everything done by 7:31. You don't have to worry about asking me for an extension or if you got behind. If you got behind, just get caught up. If you want to move ahead, if you get everything done by next week, that's fine. I don't have no problem with it at all. Just as long as everything's done by the 31st. Now, I'm not guarantee you that I will have time to set up a date for you to do your final exam super early or something like that. Maybe if we get closer to that time, I can do it a little early. But that's something that we can discuss. All you can do is shoot your shot, and it's all about matching up schedules. But I'm just saying how early or how quick or how slow you move is based on you. As long as 7:31 is the date that you get everything in by.
So I did have one question. When it comes to the final exam, is it kind of formatted in the kind of type, not the type of questions, but the type of questions that are presented, as in like the type of answers? Is it the same as the previous test, or is it different?
Well, it's going to be based on, it's going to be very similar to this review right here. So one thing I
Okay.
did mention about the reviews is that they're not mandatory, but I would suggest you at least take a look at them because they'll let you know what type of questions you'll see on that respective test. So the same thing with the final exam review. Even if you don't do it, I would suggest that you at least take a look at it and you'll know what type of problems to set up that you'll be dealing with, and you know what type of way to set up, any type of notes or paper you want to have at your disposal, because it'll be, that type of problem will be laid out for you in the review. Hopefully that answered your question. What you
Yeah, that I think what I was just trying to word was like for an example, if it was the all the tests are like, let's say all multiple choice, right? And then
Mhm.
you go to the final exam and it's all like fill in the blank, I guess.
Right,
That's
right,
what I
right.
was asking.
Nah, yeah, I wouldn't do that to you. Yeah, the final exam review will let you know how each one are going to be worded, what they're asking of you, and how to put in the words and stuff. Yeah. Whether it be multiple choice or type in answer. Normally for your class, this class though, they don't. There is no type in the answer type of problems. So they would have maybe 4 sentences that you would choose from, that type of thing. But you wouldn't have to type in the answer.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. So let's just go ahead and go into one real quick, and then we'll look at the other stuff. This is a good one. Let's see what number 5 is, right? Okay, that's just one. All right. So this is an example of one of your problems. So what I'm going to do here is just put in anything. All right. So you see, we can check our answer right here. If you get it wrong, they try to give you a hint as to how to get it right. Second chance, and then notice that it says final chance or final check right here. So they give you 3 chances to get the answer correct under normal circumstances, depending on the complexity of the problem. Now, if it's a true or false question, then of course you're only going to get one shot, because if you get it wrong, then you know what the answer is the other one. So normally that's the type of situation, but normally you get 3. So once you hit your final check, they give you the answer, tell you what yours was, and oh, this is multi-purpose problem. And see, once you they give you 2 options. And so once you get it all the way wrong, all the way right, once you're done with the problem, if you're finished, I think either way they'll ask you if you want to do a similar question or go to the next one. Didn't even hit that right there. But if you want to hit similar question, it would just reset it right then. If you hit next and go to the next problem, notice it marks it wrong with the red X. If you got part of it right, part of it wrong, it would say green check / red X. Or if you got the whole thing correct, it would just be a green check. And then when you go to your list of problems, same thing, same notation, red X right here. But it would, if it was right, it would be a green check. Now, if you want to go ahead and hit a similar problem, similar question, same type of problem, just different numbers, and you can go ahead and try it again. All right. And then once you get it right, that red X would turn to a green check. So now here are your help tools. Most people do not hit help me solve this because that will help you solve the problem and then just mark it wrong because it gave you the answer, just help you solve it. So, now it's going to encourage you to try to get on your own. Most people, what they like to do is hit view an example. It opens up another window. The problem is very similar to it, and then it walk you through the steps. You can even print this out. Some people print out, everything and all this stuff. And from there, it should close out. Now you can go ahead and try the problem you're dealing with. Get more help. Depending on the complexity of the problem, that would dictate how many options you have here. If this problem was more complex, then it would have a video from like a Pearson instructor, talking about it. Sometimes you have animation. So it just depends on what's going on. Textbook option though takes you to the problem in the textbook or where this problem is discussed in the textbook. StatCrunch is Pearson's version of Excel. So if you ever need questions or ever have questions about it, also feel free to ask if you want see if I can help you out with some of the things in StatCrunch. Tech help is just contacting Pearson's tech support and then ask my instructor sends me an email that you had a problem with this problem. Um, Keep in mind, if you were to email me, my goal is to answer your email, not to tell you to email me and not answer, right? So if you shoot me, ask my instructor, every now and then something weird happen and stuff doesn't interface or communicate as well as it should. So if that's the case, and let's say you email me and you don't get a response, always feel free to email me directly, or come to office hours and we'll make sure that you are good to go. All right. Let's see anything else of this. So any questions so far? Any questions on MATLAB so far?
No, I've been able to have access, so like this kind of looks familiar. I think it's called like the very first almost like orientation part where it's
Okay.
kind of formatted the same,
Mhm.
where it's telling you like how to format the answers and stuff.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And so that's something they most definitely want to pay attention to because they tell you how they want the answers, and then it's okay when you're homework and you do unlimited amount of tries. But then when you do your test, if you don't put it in the way they've been trying to gauge you to put it in or lead you to put it in, then you get it marked wrong. And if you ever have some situation like that, let's say the answer was 5, but you put x equal to 5, I can always go in and adjust the score and add points accordingly. But I wouldn't know that you made that mistake unless you tell me. So just always keep that in mind as well. Let's see. Okay, cool. All right, so now getting to these definitions right here. Now, one thing that always comes to mind when I talk about these before we even get into the definitions is that go back to what I was saying about Pearson, not Pearson, but MATLAB interfacing with Safari. If you do a Safari, you will only get one page. So notice there are multiple pages here in both cases. But if you do Safari, it will only give one page, and you'll think that it's only one page, and that's why people want to turn to one page. And I said, you use Safari, and they'd be like, yeah, yep, go into Chrome because you'll see all of the definitions. So these are your definitions for chapter 1, and then definitions for chapter 2. You're only going to have definitions for chapter 1 and chapter 2. My goal is to basically set a solid foundation for you moving forward in the class. When it comes to statistics, statistics has its own language. So don't go to Google, Alexa, whoever else is out in Siri and get these definitions just generally. You have to go to a statistics definition because some of these are not the same in the general world than they are as they are in statistics. Going to a statistics book will give you the same answer, or going to a statistics website will give you the same answer, but not generally will all of these definitions be the same. So you have to be careful with that. So of course you can go to your book, and that would be the easiest way to do this. And your ebook is right here. And so this was not made to be a hard assignment, just to familiarize you guys with the terminology, and give you a solid foundation moving forward. So it's not a scavenger hunt. Everything is in order, and it should be an easy grade. So you either hit e-text or hit chapter content. And so while that is loading, I'll show you this as well. So notice it says, what are the two definitions of statistics? What is population, population parameters, sample, raw data, sample statistics are the first few. So now let's go to the actual e-text. So notice the first thing that they ask you, the two definitions of statistics. All right. And then population, population parameters. If you were to go to the next page, population parameters are in the blue box. Let me make sure I got something little quick. Yes. And then the raw data, sample statistics, sample, all of those are the first 6, 5 or 6 questions. And so that's how it's set up. They're all in order. So if you get to, let's say if you get down to what is a census, and for some reason you don't see these 3, then somewhere you missed a page or whatever, it's all in order. So like I said, it wasn't made to be hard, just to familiarize you guys with these terms that you're going to be seeing throughout chapters 1 and 2, and then some of it extend throughout the whole course. So, and I don't do a lecture on chapter 1, and because before we switched this book, I didn't do chapter 2 either, because the way that it was set up, it was just all definitions. Chapter 2 for this book now has a little more involved. So when you look at the lectures, it starts at chapter 2. But mainly chapter 1 and chapter 2 are definition based and graphs, I believe, in chapter 2. And so when you look at your assignments, those definitions that you are going through in that assignment, they will, help you out in your homeworks in chapter 1 and chapter 2. And then your tests will be, based on those definitions as well. All right, let's see. So now these two assignments, chapter 1, chapter 2 definitions are the only assignments kind of like outside that you have to submit outside of Math Lab. After that, everything you do will be your assignments here in Math Lab. So what I need you to do as far as they are concerned is that you do them. Now you can either, it's up to you how you want to handle it. You can download it and then type them in, cut and paste, type them in. You can print it, or you can just write them, but whatever way you want to do it. If you download it, type them up, whatever, then you can, email the Word document to me, or you write them in your notes. You can take a picture with your phone, scan it, and then email it to me. Whatever the case may be, you're gonna do them and then email them to me. All right. Up to you how you want to take these down and take these notes down. But you email them to me on your own time, and the due date
So,
for definitions.
okay, that's what I was about to ask. Like, is there a specific date, or it
Yeah.
for all of them you just email them to you?
Yep. And so by June 2nd.
Okay.
Now, and I'm going to email the whole class. Well, I told them I was going to email a copy of this video anyway. But I'm going to when I email the video, I'm going to, reconfirm this due date in that email as well. But that's a Sunday. And, if something funky happens and you don't get it in, it's just a conversation. It's just definitions. Just, talk to me so we can go ahead and be on the same page, and we'll work it out. But, just in a general sense, we're looking at getting those to me by June 2nd, that's Sunday. And you don't want to sit on these anyway, because you want to go ahead and get into your work and start knocking them out. Remember, we have until July 31st to get all of our assignments in, but you don't want to wait till July 29th to get started. So that's what we're looking at. Questions so far up to this point? Questions?
No, like I said, I got I've already had access, so I was kind of already working on the definitions, and I've read like I think all, if not most of chapter 1 already.
Okay.
So like I've already been a little bit invested. My only real question was because I saw that and I think I saw a little bit of chapter 2 recording. So I saw that, like, okay, they had to turn it in, and I was just
Mhm.
like, okay, we do it, but how do we turn it in? That was my only real question.
Okay. Cool. All right, that's awesome. Glad you're on top of it. But yep. So for everybody who didn't catch it, just shoot that email to me with your definitions, and then what will happen is I will manually type in, input your grade into MathLab once you send that email to me, and then after that, everything else is instantaneous. Once you submit on your homework, it'll tell you what your grade is, or submit on the test, it'll tell you what your grade is. Yeah. All right, let's see if there's anything else I need to make sure you get on before I let you go. I think that is it. You say this assignment's on work.
Oh, so I see that for the most part you want to use MyLab statistics, right? The only thing on Canvas, like you said earlier, was email.
Mhm.
Will our grade reflect on Canvas on a regular basis, or most of our grade is just going to be in my lab?
Yeah, everything's gonna be in MathLab. Yep. Because I didn't want to create the confusion of somebody going to Canvas versus going to MathLab and vice versa. You know what I mean? So yeah, everything that you do, all your grades, everything is in MathLab. Mhm. Yeah. So you wouldn't go to Canvas for anything except to see if you have missed the email, because that's where I will put your announcements. If I could have put your announcements in my lab, then I would have did it. It's just there's no legit way for it to not look messy or confusing or whatever. So that's the best way to archive our emails and announcements in Canvas. All right. I think that's all I have for today. Anything else you can think of? Anything?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for attending. And so, but if you think of anything, I'm always paying attention to my email. And like I said, I'm getting those office hours to you guys as well. And then from there, we'll be ready to rock. All right. Have a good one. And I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you.